Hello, lovelies. This is 5 Minute Manifesting, and I'm your host, Lovey Brown. Thank you so much for listening today. I am thrilled that you are. So, today I want to talk to you about a Neville Goddard technique called Isn't It Wonderful? Isn't it wonderful that you're listening to this podcast? I think that it is. I'm really grateful that you are. So, Isn't It Wonderful? It comes from a story that Neville taught at his lectures of an artist that captured the feeling that something wonderful was happening to him. And he taught this technique, and a woman that attended his lectures, who was 55 years old, and she had fallen on hard times. She had fallen on times where her income was gone, like her savings were being depleted. She didn't have employment. She was going to have to look for employment to keep living, right? She was falling behind on her rent, and she needed basically everything to make up a home. Like, she needed everything. And she said that she thought about visualizing, but it was so many things that she needed. There were so many different things that she needed that she said that visualizing all those different things exhausted her. And so she remembered that lecture of Neville talking about the artist capturing the feeling of something wonderful happening. And so she decided to do that. So every single night for 2 months, she went to sleep in the feeling of, isn't it wonderful of what's happening to me right now? And she would work up that feeling. So the feeling state that she was in was a good one, a positive one. So she felt as she was falling asleep every night for 2 months that something wonderful was happening for her now. Now, even though during those 2 months, her situation hadn't changed. Like, she was falling behind on her rent. She needed lots of things. She was going to have to go out and find a job at 55 years old. And, this is back in 1948 is when this first, Neville first told the story. And in 1948, a woman who was 55 years old looking for a job, that was kind of a tough road. I mean, not that she couldn't do it. She could imagine and find a job. But she didn't want to have to do it. So she did this every night for 2 months. And one day she, on a chance in the street, ran into a man that she was friends with, that she had known back when she lived in New York. And she spoke with this man, and they chatted, and they caught up, and he was about to go on a trip to New York. And so they talked about New York City. They had a good time. They parted ways. Then another month passed. So this is her third month of Isn't It Wonderful? Nothing's changed. But that man returns from his trip to New York City, and he finds her where she's living at her apartment, and he hands her a check for $2,500. Now, if someone handed me a check for $2,500 today, I would be thrilled. I would be delighted. I would think it's wonderful. Isn't it wonderful? But in 1948, that $2,500 was a lot more money, worth a lot more then. And so that was enough for her to get everything that she needed, and then some. And then it turns out that she continued to receive checks for 2 years. And then over this time period, at the end of the 2 years, a lawyer came and found her and filled out paperwork for her to get an annuity that would last for the whole rest of her life. So what happened was, when the gentleman that she had spoken to went to New York City, he ran into, by chance, he wasn't planning to meet up with this man, someone that had known the woman and was a good friend of hers 25 years ago, a long time ago. And for whatever reason, she didn't know the reason, the man in New York had become wealthy and had decided to share some of his wealth with her. And we know the reason, though. We know the reason is because she manifested this man making that decision to share some of his wealth with this woman because she was feeling it real. She was feeling that something wonderful was happening. She needed She needed money. She needed things for her apartment. She needed a car and clothes, whatever she needed. She needed all those things, and she got them because she persisted, and the wish fulfilled the feeling of something wonderful happening for 3 months. And then it did, and she got exactly what she wanted. Isn't it wonderful? Isn't it wonderful what's happening right now? Isn't it wonderful what's happening to me right now? Isn't it wonderful what's happening to you right now? So find something wonderful to contemplate. Find your wonderful future inside of yourself in your imagination and think about it and just feel those feelings. Just luxuriate in those feelings. And then those feelings will harden to fact and something wonderful will happen for you. Thank you so much for listening. This has been 5 Minute Manifesting, and I've been your host, Lovey Brown. I do want to just a quick reminder that I do have a Manifest a Specific Person workbook. It's on Amazon, all across the world from Amazon. So any place you have access to Amazon, you can purchase the How to Manifest a Specific Person workbook. It's both on Kindle and you can order it in paperback. So if you do want to do some work with that, it has 30 exercises. And they are the exercises that help me manifest my specific person. So if you're interested, take a look at that. Thank you so much for joining, and I hope you have a wonderful day.